If you've ever played or even seen Mario Odyssey, you would know there are a ton of different movement techniques you can do. There are single jumps, double jumps, triple jumps, long jumps, side flips, back flips, ground pound jumps, dives, cat bounces, rolls, and many more. This versatile moveset makes for a lot of experimentation when it comes to what you can do, and this is where the role of trick jumping comes in. Trick jumping essentially is using certain aspects of Mario's moveset to get from point A to point B while in the air. So this right here would be an example of a trick jump because you go from one spot to another, but it's a bit more complicated than that, because this example would not be a trick jump. While yes, you are jumping from one point to the other, there's not actually a way to know where to land. But now that you have a basic understanding of what trick jumping is, we can get into everything you need to know so you can start doing it for yourself. There are two main types of trick jumps in Mario Odyssey. Trick jumps that use a triple jump, and trick jumps that use a cappy vault. Now there are more types of trick jumps, but they aren't as common, and for the sake of this video, I'll only be focusing on these two types because almost every trick jump uses one or the other. We're going to start off with the triple jump. Triple jumps are performed by moving forward and jumping, and then right when you hit the ground, jump. And then you do that one more time, and it's a triple jump. The problem with this though is that you're not going to have enough speed to actually perform most trick jumps. So this is where ground pound rolls and roll cancels come in handy. If you jump and then do a ground pound by holding ZL or ZR and then press X or Y, you can roll. Then you can do a triple jump after the roll is over. This is good, but the problem is that most times you don't actually have enough room to do a full triple jump, and this is where roll cancels come in handy. This is a bit more complicated, but it becomes easy when you get used to it. To do a roll cancel, you want to initiate a roll, and then during the roll, you want to do a cappy throw and a jump at the same exact time, while holding the left stick either to the left or right of the roll. And after all that, you want to jump. So the inputs for this are pressing either Y or X, and A or B, and holding the direction all at the same time during the roll. And right after you cancel the roll, immediately press A or B to jump again. And then from here, you can continue the triple jump. So it looks like this all together. Now, what are you supposed to do after the triple jump? Well, first you want to perform a cappy dive. So while in the air, you throw cappy, and then dive by pressing ZL or ZR, and then hold either X or Y at the same time. Then you want to do something called a rainbow spin. You want to throw cappy, and then shake your controller, and the moment he returns back to you, press the jump button. And after doing all that, you finally want to throw cappy and dive. So this is what everything will look like all together. And here's an example of an actual trip jump using these techniques. The very first thing I recommend you to do is to join the Trick Jumping Discord. The link is in the description. The Discord is vital because it gets you involved in the community, and you can easily access a list of all the trick jumps. If you go to the Spreadsheets tab in the Discord, you can access a spreadsheet with all the different trick jumps. And now would probably be a good time to mention the different difficulties of trick jumps. They are rated on a difficulty scale of 0.5 to 10, with 0.5 being the easiest and 10 being the most difficult. There's actually a difficulty harder than these called Elite Trick Jumps, but because this is a beginner's guide, I'm not going to talk about those. Trick jumps are also broken up into different tiers. Trick jumps rated 0.5 to 3 are considered beginner trick jumps. Trick jumps rated 3.5 to 5 are considered intermediate. The ones rated 5.5 to 6 are advanced. Ones rated 7 to 8 are expert. And trick jumps rated 8.5, 10 are considered master trick jumps. With that being said, here's what I recommend for beginners. You want to work your way up the tiers, so start with some beginner trick jumps, then after you feel comfortable with those, move up to intermediate, and so on until you're all the way to master trick jumps. This is how I did it, and it's what makes the most sense. You don't want to jump into something crazy when you're not prepared, so you slowly have to build up your skills until you get good enough. One good way to learn how to trick jump also is to watch someone else doing it and to try to emulate what they're doing. That's why I've also linked some of my trick jump videos in the description. These are a bit old, so some of these jumps most likely are not on the trick jumping list anymore. There's still a lot of good jumps in those videos that I would highly recommend to try. Now that you know where to get started, we still need to talk about the other type of trick jumps, vaults. Vaults are performed by throwing out Cappy and then rolling onto him to gain a lot of distance. In order to do this properly, there are several inputs involved. First, you need to throw Cappy and hold him there. I like to do this with the Y button, and you'll see why in a minute. Then you need to jump and do a ground pound and roll, all while holding down the Y button to keep Cappy there. So when you roll, you can't use the Y button, and instead, you have to use the X button in order for Cappy to stay out. Then, after you perform the vault, you can just do the same thing that I showed for the triple jump, with a Cappy dive into the homing cap throw into the final dive. And here's an example of a jump using a vault. Now, using these techniques I just mentioned, you're going to be able to do a lot of trick jumps. But when you get to the more difficult jumps like the advanced and the expert, you won't be able to do them very easily, or even do them at all. And that's why I'm going to talk about a few more advanced techniques to incorporate into your trick jumps to help you gain the bit of extra distance you need to make some of these more challenging jumps. The first is called the triple throw. This technique can be used in either vaults or triple jumps. This is what it looks like. But how exactly do you do this? Well, think of it like a triple jump, but with Cappy. So you throw him out once, and then when he returns, throw him out again, immediately. And then when he returns again, throw him out a final time. And when you shake, he will return back extremely quickly. But how do you actually incorporate this into a triple jump? Well, you want to throw Cappy, and then immediately ground pound roll. And then when Cappy returns to you, do the roll cancel, and make sure you hold out Cappy, so that after you perform the triple jump, Cappy will return to you so you can do the triple throw. Here's what it looks like all together. Now, when it comes to triple throw vaults, it's a lot easier. You just throw Cappy twice and do the vault, and then do the triple throw. And yeah, here's a couple jumps using the triple throw. The final technique that will be helpful in your beginner trick jumping journey is vectoring. Vectoring is a technique that gives you just a little bit of extra distance that can be necessary to perform difficult triple jumps and vaults. To understand what it is, I'm going to show you two different trick jumps, one with vectoring and one without. So for this is the no vectoring. So notice how Mario just stays in a straight line the whole time? That's not good. Now for the attempt with vectoring. Notice how we're going at a 45-degree angle during the jump. That's what vectoring is. Now I know it doesn't seem to make sense that going at an angle gives you more distance, but just trust me, it does. It's been proven. So you want to hold the joystick at a 45-degree angle when you do the triple jump, when you throw Cappy, and when you bounce off of Cappy. And one more thing before I end the video is to make sure you are in assist mode when trick jumping. And the reason for this is because a lot of trick jumps you will die if you fail. So to save time on attempts, have assist mode on, because you'll just go in a bubble and be spawned back. And you can do this by pressing plus, going to the options, pressing choose mode, and then assist mode. And that's it. That's my beginner guide to trick jumping. I hope you all learned a lot from this guide, and I want to wish you all luck in your trick jumping journey.